The Never Quit Podcast, sponsored and hosted by Quotes Jungle.
Welcome to another edition of the Never Quit Podcast. Here live in the studio, I have Miss Wonderful with me. How you doing?
I can't complain. Actually, I'm glad to be here in Denver and, just checking the thing out. Glad there's no snow, so, that's even better actually for my position in life.
Have you ever been to Colorado before?
I have. I believe I've been here twice.
Talk about what for?
The first time I was here, I was driving through after I left North Dakota for a job and was here probably for a day, tried to meet up with you. We didn't link that time. And then the last time I was here, actually, I was with my ex-lover and we made a music video.
Ex-lover.
Ex-lover.
Before we get to ex-lover, tell us a little bit about you and yourself, what you want to share with the people, where you're at in the stage of your life right now.
Well, right now I'm pretty much just in a state of, I wouldn't say hot girl summer, but pretty close to hot girl summer. Just living life, staying focused on my dreams and goals really is first and foremost. Being consistent, having a job, a career, I would say, that is easy on my body, and moving forward to my 3 and 5 year goals right now.
Share with us something interesting that the people may know about you that they may have saw, so you can give your side of the story. That
would probably be my Steve Wilkos appearance.
Talk about that.
Oh, wow. I had an opportunity to get on there and was going through a very toxic relationship. And it kind of put me a little bit in a bad light, but also I got made a fool of on national television. So, it's a shame that I reacted the way I did because I was really hurt, but I suffer from PTSD, so I kind of come off as more aggressive than I really am. I'm a very emotional person. So yeah, that was it was really heartbreaking. But I guess I have a little bit of a thick skin to cheaters. So I kind of just, all right, well, keep on moving. So, yeah, I guess, I don't know. They kind of focused on my past about being sex trafficked. So that really kind of put me in a weird light because that's not how I wanted to talk about my past and being in that type of situation when I was in my 20s. So it was more so the comments on YouTube that kind of were just you all just don't even know.
For those who aren't familiar with the show that you're talking about, briefly describe to them what the show's about and how you appeared on there so they have a better understanding. Then I want you to describe how you wanted to be portrayed.
Steve Wilkos used to be a security for Jerry Springer. He had his own spinoff show. Originally, his show was more so because he used to be an officer, so he really wanted to kind of help people. Get certain things out. He does a lot of lie detector tests. And I just remember them calling me one day, and then that's pretty much how the opportunity happened. And I was literally in the midst of finding out all this stuff in my prior situation. And I just was yeah, let's do it. At the time, we were still broken up, and we ended up talking again. And I said, "Hey, did the Steve Wilkos show call you?" And he was like, "No," but because he was in the music industry, not really. I helped him with that, but I said, this would be a good look. Get on there, and let's just have fun with it. So he does these lie detector tests, and originally they were going to empower me as a woman. And I feel wow, I'm trying not to get into that subject, but...
Go into it. You're comfortable here.
we flew out to Connecticut, and when we got there, he actually tested positive. And so then he got stuck there. I flew back to Arizona, and then they wanted us still to be on the show. So after they sent him back, we made more arrangements. And this time, my ex was kind of obsessed with animals. So we had 4 cats and 2 dogs. So someone had to stay back and watch them because I couldn't get anybody to watch all those animals. So I stayed back. They flew him back out. And because I wasn't there and I couldn't take a lie detector test also, they changed the narrative. Mm. And so then they kind of pretty much directed him to just be like, let's talk about our past and, that she's the one with the trust issues. And so I kind of went along with it, but they really were trying to push for me to cry on air. And I probably wouldn't have had a problem crying on air, but I think I kept giving him a chance before he left, and I was like, hey, is there anything you really need to tell me? Because, let me know what's up. Because if you're going to lie, or if this lie detector is going to come back that you're lying to me, I don't know what I'm going to do. Because my PTSD has gotten, when I was in that situation, because of the triggers that he would put onto me, I got violent. I actually got arrested. So wait, there is something. I've been arrested. I spent the night in jail, and for threatening. I scream a lot when I get upset, to the top of my lungs. And I wasn't really threatening, but it's hearsay at this point. But yeah, so there were some charges for that. So I don't know. I don't know. I try my best to stay calm. My panic button's always pretty much on, is what my neurologist said. So I didn't cry on air. I just kind of said some things off the top of my head just to make myself feel better. But I don't think I was empowered on that show at all. So, yeah.
Now that you've aired that out, why don't you share with the world who you want to be portrayed as Miss Wonderful? I
would say I would like to be portrayed as someone who loves everybody on this planet. Me, Vida Wonderful, basic is that I love life and everything in it. That includes the ups and downs. I'm definitely, I don't want to say independent woman. I know how to take care of myself, that's for sure. But I want to empower other women. So I'd rather be known kind of as like a guru or like a teacher.
I'm going to pull up this screen for her, and I'll put a little small clip together. And I want you to describe what you see. The beginning of it will have a little bit of talking, but after that, then I want you to go and talk about where you were at in your life, what you remember from the small clips that you see, okay?
Okay.
So here we go. 1, 2, 3, and we're live.
What up? This is Miss Wonderful.
I test people because I want to see how they react to me. I test people by the way I look, for instance. Because I know if I look a certain way, I'll get a certain reaction. And I know if I look another way, I'll get a different reaction.
1,000%.
But then when people actually go beyond my outside appearance and actually get to know me, then that's the real test.
What do we have going on right here?
Oh, wow. So that was actually right before I was about to be in a movie. And that was probably that was the sexiest part of Shannon, a.k.a. Miss Wonderful.
What's going on here?
Oh, Lord. Oh, my gosh, that was...
What's going on here?
Oh, body inked up. body marked up.
What's going on here?
Oh, that was the Kendrick Lamar video. Oh, that is...
Okay, let's talk about that life and where we're at right now, okay? Let's do that.
Right.
I'm glad I got you to smile and laugh. Let's go.
Thank you. I was getting a little serious and thick there for a second. I was like, dang.
That's what we got to do.
5 minutes in, already thick. There's no plot.
Yeah. This is all random. That's why I like it. I want you to be true to your answers.
Yeah. Gosh, that was the better part of like the last 10 years you just played back for me. I know that like that's the thing about me is I consistently just kept going. Like nothing ever, I've trauma like motherfucker. Excuse my French, but nothing's really kind of helped me. Like I've been depressed, but like nothing stops me. I just keep moving forward. Definitely, I do wish I would have taken more opportunities because I definitely had more modeling opportunities, more movie opportunities. Just even with the music videos, like, I had opportunities to be in a lot more music videos. Like I was kind of like putting on earlier, it's just that I got involved with a lot of men that I, one, made more money than, and two, had more ties to what they wanted to do. And so jealousy was like definitely one of the major parts of me constantly evolving as a person on this planet. I definitely had a desire to want to be famous, but not really be famous in the forefront, but more so in the background. And where I'm going now with. So I'm currently truck driving right now, and I'm actually just kind of doing that because one, the money's consistent and it's good. I'm contributing to society by getting commerce from point A to point B. But the long-term goal is actually I have a friend of mine in Seattle who went back to school specifically to become a screenplay writer. Mm-hmm. I met him in 2019-ish. 2020 actually. And I asked him if he wanted to was interested in being in a film. And we've actually got a miniseries that we're going to be doing together. We've got about 30 episodes, basically based on true life stories, just kind of, put a nice little spin to it.
So from what I know about you personally and what you have out there publicly and what you just shared with me, would you say that truck driving is a scapegoat for you to have your own therapy and be alone with yourself? And my second part to that question is, have you ever spent this much time alone by yourself before this?
Well, let me answer your second part first. Yes, I've actually spent a lot of time alone. In between relationships, I tend to pretty much keep to myself throughout childhood. I've always played by myself in my room. I would say doing a lot of internal work has been always at my forefront. I've evolved over the years. I started with quantum physics and helping with doing like sleep hypnosis.
Okay.
So that's kind of where I started about 10 years ago, because I wanted to naturally heal myself from my PTSD without having to take Xanax, because I was prescribed that for a while. And I don't really like the antidepressants either. So as a scapegoat, I would say yes and no, because one, I love to drive. There was that Kendrick Lamar video. I drove to California specifically for actually Lil Wayne, Compton Menace, and Mitchie Slick's video, Blood Ninjas. Mm-hmm. And the guy that I was an old lover kind of cockblocked, or I guess he was hating because he didn't want me to meet Lil Wayne. And so I didn't get to be in the video. A girlfriend of mine went with me. She was actually supposed to be one of the girls washing the cars, but he was like playing around with the address and then finally gave it to us. And then I was at that time doing 222 Radio, The Truth, and I had already interviewed K-Dot, aka Kendrick Lamar, and the rest of the crew. Jay, what was his name? J Rock?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
J Rock.
J Rock was the lead back then. And so I had interviewed him on my radio show and then was like, oh, hey, I'm in California. And they're like, oh, well, we have a music video. So I ended up being in that music video the next day. So, like I said, just knowing people in the industry for as long as I've been doing music. A lot of people don't know, actually. Also, my brother was in the music industry. He was one of the first people in Arizona doing music, rap and hip hop. He went on tour with a bunch of people. And
Give your brother a shout out. What's his name?
He used to
Or what did he go by?
He went by Four Scene. And he went viral he was like #1 artist in the region back in MySpace days. So, he did a lot of touring and a lot of work with a lot of the artists. And so that's actually where Willie Northpole and Sin Q knew me from.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
So tell the people why you love hip hop, or let's say music, so much. Where did that come from?
My dad was in the military. I was born in Mississippi. We were raised in Virginia and California, mostly California. So where we lived in Vallejo, California, I listened to KMEL. I think it was like 106 KMEL. And Too Short. Too Short was my first favorite rapper in the whole, like, everything. Yeah.
What's your favorite Too Short song?
Don't Fight the Feeling.
What's your favorite album by him?
Short Dogs in the House.
That's what's up.
Yeah, so, I loved it. But I grew up listening to everything. My dad was listening to, like, country western, classic rock. My mom, she was from Mexico, so she listened to a lot of, like, mariachi bands and, different Mexican, like, artists. And then she also listened to a lot of 80s music. And then I had an older brother who was like almost 10 years older than me, and he was like alternative 80s, U2 in excess. So I feel like I have definitely an ear for all types of music. And then when my brother started doing it, we used to always kind of battle rap each other. Mm-hmm. He was more like rapper, and I know I tried to get into music a little bit, but I was like, nah, your voice is too, like, deep or something, I guess, or whatever. I just never really wanted to be a singer, though. So that's when I kind of started getting into, like, hey, I want to start doing, like, a podcast. And I didn't know it was called a podcast then, because that's not what it was. Mm-hmm. It was called Blog Talk. And I feel like I first started working with a producer, Destined from mathematics, with the mathematics crew. He actually was working with my brother at first. It was my brother kind of started him also as well into music, and they put out a lot of albums together. So he really got into the producer aspect of it, and instead of as being an artist. And I worked with him, and he really kind of helped produce me. We did some mixtapes, and then I did the live interviews, and then because originally I was wanting to do kind of like what you're doing right now with the video, and an interview artist was my original like idea, but it's definitely the technology's better now for sure.
What would you say thus far that you've learned in the music industry that can help somebody?
You need people. You need people to believe in you, and you need a team. Period. You can't do it all by yourself when it comes to music, because as an artist, if you're going to be an artist, okay, like let's just say like you've got this dream, like you want to be the next rap star. First of all, you need to like research artists that have been #1 and how they got there, and you got to be better than them. So basically, because I know from sports right now, even in university, you not only have to have straight A's, but you got to be like clean cut and be doing all the sports on top of it. So like most people have to hold down a job as well. So if you can't do all of that, I know what it took for my brother to get where he wanted to, and then he turned down deals. He literally was like, nah. He went into the medical industry because he had consistent money at that time. If you're just gonna sit there and just like make music, and think that that's all you can do. Like, you ain't going nowhere. Sorry, you're just gonna be, you might go viral, but nah, you got a lot of work to do, and you need to work with people and give them the opportunity to like really help you out. Yeah, that's what I would say. Because I really honestly feel like anybody that thinks that they want to be a rapper, or maybe a singer or something, maybe try writing first and get your songs sold. Like, be a songwriter first. And then if you really do like what Big Sean did, start in the background, work your way forward. Same thing as Kanye, right? Everybody thought Kanye was just going to be a producer, but look at where he's taken himself. So I don't know. I feel like I still kind of feel that like most people should just like try a different career, like stay out of the music industry. Like, come on now.
So let's talk about your video show that you had back then where you used to voice that opinion.
I used the truth multiple couple times. Gosh. I'm surprised you didn't find that one. But it was on someone else's YouTube page, that's why. So that one didn't last too long for the show idea because, one, now I have no problem telling people like my true truth of an opinion. Like if the song needs to be reworked, I'm going to tell a person now. Most of the time, when I was younger, I feel like I had no problem telling people that, like, the good part. Like, I would just go to the good part of it. And I feel like now I can give a little bit more constructive criticism and not feel bad about it. Because I feel like back then, I was like, well, who's going to, like, believe, like, I know what the hell I'm talking about? But I did because, like I said, my brother had been doing music since he was 15 years old. And so, I'm just a few years older than him. So, like, we were doing it together. We'd be writing stuff down and all that good stuff before, lyrics were just, like, online.
For those who can't see you visually and aren't watching the video, you're covered in tattoos. Can you talk and describe why you're obsessed with the tattoos or why you like tattoos?
Oh, wow. Here we go. Here's another thing that the world doesn't know about. So, I used to be a stripper, obviously, sex industry. And I had a lot of jewelry. Chains on chains, rings on every finger, like blinged out. Probably about $500,000 worth of jewelry. And it was all stolen from me. It was all stolen from me and by someone who I thought I could trust. And one, it's material, right? Material possession. Two, it did suck because it was like right when gold prices like just shot through the roof. And three, like, I love jewelry, but I don't want it stolen from me again. In this way, I figure getting tatted up, like, unless you're trying to skin me, like, you ain't taking my tattoos. And they're more valuable to me than gold will ever be.
That's what's up. I know you have a lot of tattoos. Can you describe a couple of them that have a lot of meaning?
They all have meaning.
Well, give me the top three.
My Vida Wonderful is definitely when I kind of like push the edge of like, okay, you're doing more than just getting a couple tattoos. Vida Wonderful is Spanglish for my wonderful life. There is no Spanish word for wonderful. Yeah, I know. I was like, hey, Mom, what's the Spanish word for wonderful? And she's like, marvelosa, fantastical. And I'm like, no, that's not wonderful. So I really, that it just says it. It just sums it up. I came up with it kind of towards the end of my stripping career. I went by the stage name Wonderful. And, I felt pretty unique at the time. I was glad I danced when I did because it was a really good time. There was good money during that time period. And I loved my life, but I didn't think it was like mi vida loca. Like, it's not a crazy life. It's a wonderful life. So I feel like that just kind of like solidified everything and helped me embody the name Wonderful that people call me now. Some people, there's different versions of it. There's Miss Wonderful, and then there's Vida Wonderful. A lot of people call me Vida now. So I just feel like that's what embodied everything as myself. And then, you know, everybody gets like kid tattoos. I've got 3 children. There was a 4th, but that one didn't make it onto this planet. And so I have tattoos for them. I've got on my side is, I think this is probably kind of weird, but my mom used to call us monkeys. My brother and I, my younger brother and I. She would always say, monkey see, monkey do. And so I've got monkeys with wings on it, like from Wizard of Oz. So I've got 3 flying monkeys, and then I have a 4th one in a mayonnaise jar on my arm to represent the baby who didn't make it. So those are my 3.
If you could take yourself back to 18-year-old Miss Wonderful, what would you tell her right now in this stage in your life?
Definitely invest in Bitcoin when you were presented it. Oh, gosh, I don't think I would change much of it, to be honest with you. I did. So the child that didn't make it on this planet, I was kind of convinced to have an abortion. So I definitely would have told myself, like, don't do that, because their dad is no longer here, and so it would be nice to have one more of them on this planet, because my kids are fucking amazing. So, yeah, those are the 2 ideas I would tell self.
So talk to us about, you say you're a truck driver now, right?
Yes.
What's some of the most rewarding things with being a truck driver, and what do you think are some of the setbacks you would say that you've experienced?
So far, rewarding. One, it has empowered me as a woman even more so, because it's such a male-dominated industry. It's so rewarding because, like I said, I get to travel and I get to see all the states of the United States that I want. I've got that freedom. You know, being able to take a little time today, I don't take advantage of that as often while I'm on the road. So, you know, it has, obviously, those are some perks. The consistent income, my brother told me a long time ago, he would say, you know, fast money is just fast money. You know, you need that steady money. He wanted me to get into the medical field, and so did my mom. She was also in the medical field. It's just not me. My dad was, like I said, in the Navy, so we traveled a lot. I loved traveling, so this is perfect for me. And then, yeah, having that alone time while I'm driving, I do a lot of thinking, soul searching, listening to music, podcasts, audios. I love audiobooks. Setbacks. Well, sometimes it's the sleep schedule. Just like I never know how my body's going to feel day to day. Right now I have to have a total hysterectomy, and partly because I think I might have ovarian cancer, and so I have to set that back until I have enough money stacked up, and then, you know, I'm trying to use my PTO, my FMLA, like wait until like the timing's right to get that done. But I also have to take like 6 weeks off. And so that's like a little bit of a setback. Doctor's appointments. I have telehealth now, so it makes it easier. I don't know. I there's more pros than cons, I feel like, but my kids are older. They're young adults now. All my stuff like is in storage, and I don't have a house payment. So like this is literally the perfect job for me. I can get everywhere I need to. I wanted to start this back in 2019. I was doing comedy. I started doing stand-up comedy for a little while. And my idea was like, all right, I'm going to go city to city. When on my downtime, I'm going to go hit up the stand-up clubs. I haven't been able to do that yet. But, you know, it's, there's still so many pluses.
What is your stage name as a comedian? Is it the same?
Shannon Starr. Unless you're around some of my comedy friends, they call me Elizabeth Sharon for some reason. I don't know. if I don't, because I kind of do have a little fear of standing up on stage, which it's not so much getting on stage, and then it's just telling the jokes. I'm more of a storyteller, and to become a storyteller as a comedian, you really have to like study it more. Like it's not the easiest thing to do comedy. Like I can make people laugh in person, like telling stories and just joking around, but getting on stage and like being like consistent with those jokes is like it's not the easiest feat.
When you hear the term "never quit," what comes to your mind?
Constantly evolving.
Maybe share with us an incident in your life where you almost quit and you didn't quit.
So that picture you sent me when you're like, this is the last picture you sent me, I still think that was like maybe 2017. It may have been.
It was stamped 2018.
I know. So
You know them iPhones.
I know them iPhones. Yeah, I'm still trying to like, I'm trying to put my like timeline back together. Because it's like really, honestly, for as much as I've lived, like there's still people that are like, oh, I remember this. And I'm like, send me a picture. Like, I need something to jar my memory. But I was doing a little bit of merchandise commerce for a little while. And I had some business partners that were greedy with each other, I'm assuming, because they didn't pay me accordingly. And one partner ripped off the other one, and I got stuck in the middle. I ended up losing almost $200,000. And at that time, I was trying to get away from the sex industry, which was like really hard because even though when I first was introduced into it, I was forced into it, I did not fast money, you know? It's just like you get used to it. And when I was dancing, I mean, like, I think the most I made in one night was like maybe almost $10,000. I feel like when you're getting that type of money, it's hard to just get a regular job. I've done cosmetology also. That was good money, but it's just hard on the feet. So like when that happened and all the money that I was used to making, I was making about $20,000-$30,000 a month at that point. It sucked because of their greed amongst each other, because there is definitely no honor amongst thieves. I lost it. And my kids at this point were teenagers, and they didn't really need me. They just needed money. And so I just kind of was like at a weird place, and I literally thought about killing myself. And I'm very spiritual, and something told me to stop, whether it was my inside voice or the Holy Spirit or God himself. I do a lot of sun gazing, so it could have been Amunna. I just didn't do it. And my daughter, when her dad died, which was like, no joke, like probably a year later, was like, I don't ever want to hear you say you're going to kill yourself again, Mom. So like, one thing after another, like if I wasn't there for my kids, like my kids depend on me, and they're young adults still, but they need to fucking depend on me for everything. Emotional support, financial support. Like I'm there. I'm a straight up single mom for sure now. And when I heard that voice, like it changed my life. Like just keep going. Like fuck it. And it was hard because I literally cold turkey got out of the game. Like everything, like every way of making money that isn't legit, I was no longer part of. So, you know, I just empowered myself because it's like anything I've put my mind to, I've accomplished things. I've always been successful. I could have been more successful, but hey, you know, I'm here where I'm at now, and I'm actually glad I'm where I'm at, you know. I could be wealthier, but what good is money when life matters so much?
When you hear these two phrases, she said to you, you'll always get in trouble, because you don't listen. She also told you, Shannon, don't ever let a man pimp you. Pimp yourself. Who am I talking about?
My mother.
Let's talk about her a little bit if you feel comfortable talking about that.
I do. I love her so much. Like, we did not see eye to eye my whole life. My mom was from Mexico. She was born in Sinaloa. People always think like, oh, she was from the mafia or in the cartel or something. Like, no. My mother was one of 19 children. She was picking cotton at 6 years old, so she was definitely not mob related, cartel involved. But her father was murdered by police, and so she didn't have the easiest life. Obviously, lived in a shack that got destroyed during a typhoon. So she decided to come to America, and when she was probably just barely 18 years old, she already had my brother. She had him, she was married and had him by 15 years old. And, she had two other, I would have had two other siblings, but she lost them both. My sister, she was only like 3 months old. Medical care, obviously, in Mexico is not what it is today or like what it is in America. So my sister died in her arms, and then she came to America after that. And then my other brother, he unfortunately was strangled to death in a crib. And this was all during the 70s. Now there's regulations on the cribs and all that stuff. But then I was born. And so I feel like my mom had a little bit of postpartum depression. So hence a lot of kind of battling her depression. She passed away in 2014 of frontal lobe dementia. Lewy body dementia, basically kind of like what Bruce Willis is recently diagnosed with, and Robin Williams also. So we battled my entire life. I wanted to be first generation American, I'm in America. I don't know anything about Mexico. We went a couple times, but I'm an American girl. She was very still traditional, Mexican. So like I said, I was pretty much, I had to stay at home, clean, cook, for the whole family. So I didn't really get to go out and play like everybody else. But gosh, I was just so rebelliant against my mother. And, some of those advices she gave me kind of, you don't listen to it when you're younger. I feel like most of us don't listen to our parents at all. I know my oldest isn't listening to me at all. She's kind of rebelling. She's wilder than I am. She's 2.0. But gosh, I miss her. I miss fighting with her, arguing with her. She wanted better for me, and I went the path not chosen. So, yeah, and that's where she was like, you never listen. Yeah, because for some reason I've chosen to learn the hard way. It's just like something inside of me just says, no, do it this way, when it's just so much simpler to do it the easier way, or listen to people that have already been there and done that, But I think that's part of being human, is you have to go through that fool phase. You have to be a fool, and you have to make mistakes, and you have to see how that feels, because I think if you always took everybody's advice, you wouldn't know what it feels like to fail or to mess up or to feel like you just did something and you're not going to come back from it. But then when you come back from it and you're doing something way better, because right now, no joke, my life's so consistent, and I'm like, that's why I said I can't hate some of the stuff I've been through. Now, would I change a lot of it? Not really. But, okay, I'm here now, But thanks to Mom, Mama Dukes.
What's one favorite line or phrase that she always used to say that reminds you of her that you maybe even use on your own kids or in yourself in your life?
Honestly, my mom sometimes comes out of me when I get upset. So I wouldn't say that there's really any one phrase. It's just like I embody her. So when I'm really like protective, I sound just like my mom. It's like it's almost like she possesses me from wherever she's at and speaks through me. So, yeah. My kids will call it. They'll be like, oh, that's grandma talking.
Without saying your kids' names, give me one word that describes each one of them.
So my oldest, I would say, wow. Let me think of them.
You can take your time. Take your time.
My son, he's my sunshine. My world revolves around him. He's definitely, I wish I definitely, and that's why I said I wish I had two of him, because he's my sunshine. He's just my world. He's just such a good kid for his age. He's 24 years old, and I don't know. He's just such a good kid. He's definitely a lot wiser than most 24-year-olds. And then my 23-year-old, she is, one word, worldly. She's definitely worldly. She's been to New Zealand. She's about to go up to Alaska here soon. She definitely, since she graduated from university, is traveling, just living life, and, they're still really torn because of their father's death. It was very unexpected and unfortunately tragic fentanyl overdose. So it definitely is an epidemic. It's affecting so many phases in life. My oldest, she's just strong. I wouldn't say she's strong. She's strong like me. She's strong-willed. She's hard-headed. Yeah, she's just strong. She's taken it the worst. She's definitely taking it worse. She's 28, and it's a tough one there. That one's a real tough one.
So it's sunshine, worldly, and powerful.
Yeah.
I'm looking you in your eyes because I want you to remember, if you ever get in that dark place where you wanted to leave us, remember there's people here that love you and care about you.
Yeah.
And your mama's looking down on you, okay?
Yeah.
Always remember that. I'm being dead serious, okay? Always remember that. Where would you like to see yourself 10 years from now?
So I have this vision of, what do they call those pools that are just like endless? Those endless pools, where you're looking over a cliff and the pool goes to the cliff.
I'm not sure the exact name of them, but I'll look it up. I think they're called edgeless pool, something like that.
Pool.
Something like that.
Yeah, so an edgeless property. I should definitely be under a series of movies. I see myself more as a director at that point. Producer, director, CEO.
What a lot of people don't know is she sent me a movie script over 10 years ago, so she's not out here capping.
Yeah, movie scripts and all kinds of fun stuff. My dad actually, he recently was like, you really need to write a book. Even though one thing my dad recently said, and it just broke my heart, because my dad is like, he married my mother. He was her third husband, and he'll never marry again. His name's on the tombstone already.
Mm.
He'll be buried with her. He jokes around and says, if you die first, you're going to be buried with your mom. But he said, I wish your mom was here because her craziness would help with all this chaos. And that just like, it hurt because it's like my mom was, the dementia, she probably had it for a good 10 years before we knew and before doctors even knew. And so that's why I give her, like, I have to forgive her because she was probably starting to get dementia in my teenager years. So no wonder we were fighting so much. My mom used to call the cops on me like every other week. Like, cops were always at my house. So like, I forgive her because her brain battled against her. So I feel like everything that I've gone through, and so, right, my mom and the chaos. So my dad knows that for some reason, the females in my family, and I'm not going to say for some reason, it's my ancestors, okay? My mother's ancestors were some of the first ancestors that came over from Asia, the 7 sisters that came over. And, you know, like, women in our ancestry travel. Like, it makes perfect sense why my oldest is in Portland and now my youngest is in Washington. Also, she's up in like almost to freaking Canada. My son, he's still in Arizona. And you know, he wants to get out there, but there's no rush for him to get out there. Us girls, like, we have to just be everywhere. And just everything with my dad knows. Like, I know he doesn't know everything, but my dad knows enough to where he's just like, yeah, you really need to put that story out there. I'd love to put my true story out there, but I don't want it to be a sad story because, like I said, it's me, Vida Wonderful, my wonderful life, and, you know, cry now, smile later kind of thing, and it's a dark comedy. And so that's where kind of that movie miniseries, probably be a miniseries, I think, because it might be too long for a movie.
Have you ever thought maybe you'll have to keep the truth with yourself?
Okay.
That's what you can call it, the truth.
The truth?
You wanted to tell the truth about everybody else, tell the truth about yourself.
See, that truth part got tricky, remember? Because, see, I've known a lot of people in the industry, right? So, like, that was where it was like, you know, I'm still going to plead the fifth to everybody I've ever met. And, you know, they know, I know.
Let's talk about how important forgiveness is for you.
Forgiveness is huge. Regardless of your religious or spiritual, the only way to continue to move forward in life in general is through forgiveness. You don't have to tell that person you're sorry, and you don't have to seek for forgiveness from that person. You just have to just say you forgive them. And I know it sounds so easy because, trust me, I've been pretty angry in life, and it's not always easy, but who am I to judge? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm still here. Like, life hasn't got me yet, you know.
If you were on the outside in looking at yourself now, how would you describe yourself?
Savage. Yeah. Damn, she's savage.
I want you to look at that main camera right there and tell the people where they can find you at, that you're available at, when you want to be available.
I am mostly active on Instagram and TikTok, Vida Wonderful, Vida, Vida Wonderful, WONDERFUL. That's my main go-to is Instagram, to be honest with you. Instagram's where it's at.
This has been another episode of the Never Quit Podcast. I'm sitting here live in the studio with Miss Wonderful. I hope you've enjoyed your time like I have with her and learned so much from her and follow her and voice your own opinion from her opinion of herself. Until then and until next time, peace.